Hey there.
I think we're live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook again, a month later.
Yes, hi. How you doing?
Oh, you know what, Andy? Out here in Aldergrove, I swear I want to be a weatherman so I can get the weather wrong and still get paid on a daily basis because it's absolutely stunning outside today. It's a
Yeah, it's a gorgeous day here in Fort Langley, and it's just I opened all the doors and windows, let all that fresh air in. It's like we're past winter and we're moving into better weather. Being outside, enjoying life, getting out from our hibernation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's stunning. And I have a bit of a trivia question for you, Andy, this morning.
Okay,
Okay, what day is it today?
it's March 14th, Friday, 10 o'clock. We're
Yeah,
here.
Andy talks real estate, you'd think. But did you know today is International? That's funny about that word, international question day. And
Oh,
boy, have I got some questions for you after you share your stats, my friend. I have got questions, lots of them. So give me some stats that I can back up my questions to you.
right away. Here we go. Okay, let's get into our breakdown for where the market was at on March 1st. So for we had new listings remained 14% above the 10-year seasonal average of 3,121. And overall inventory remains high at 8,070 active listings. The and this is as of March 1st. The Fraser Valley Real Estate Board recorded for the month of February 920 sales, and that's up 13% from January, but 26% below sales recorded in February of last year. So our sales are definitely, down. And total inventory, well, the overall sales to active listing ratio continues to signal a buyer's market with a ratio of 11%. And the market is considered balanced between 12 and 20% and of the actual sales to active listings. So to put it in picture form, graph form, here you can see our listings at 3,120. We had 920 sales. Looking at that from January, it actually looks a little bit better than January. The listings came down a bit, but the sales did decrease another 10% or so. But if you look at February last year, we had 1,235 sales and inventory was a lot lower at 2,797 listings. So yeah, we have a lot of listings and sales are down. So it is a buyer's market out there. And
Mm.
this tells us that we have 8.8% months of inventory. Last month we had 8.7 months of inventory. And you can see here that in December, November, October, inventory was quite down, but we did in September hit, and this is the all-time high. There's 9.2 months of inventory for September. So we're definitely in a buyer territory. Are breaking down our inventory a bit more. We have condos went from 7.1 months of inventory to 7.5 months. Townhouses increased a little bit, 5.1. Actually went down. Sorry, it went down
Mm-hmm.
slightly. And then, of course, the detached homes did increase from 9.9 months of inventory to 10.2. And all these changes they're very incremental. They're very minor, but they're starting to show a bit of a trend, and we'll see how it unfolds in the next few months. Our Fraser Valley housing price index is sitting at 1,489,100, and that's up slightly from the previous month in terms of detached homes. The townhouse market is the HPI is 820,600, and that means that we did looking have a bit of a drop there, and condos at 533,200 basically stayed the same. So, again, pricing not moving a lot, a little bit up, a little bit down. Looking at Langley itself, our inventory, Langley's always been the better market in
Mm-hmm.
many ways. Inventory for condos went up slightly to from 4.8 months to 5.2 months. Townhomes went from 3.3 months to 3.6 months of inventory. But detached homes really dropped. A lot of people are not listing their detached homes because the actual sales and had dropped off quite a bit. That people did take off their homes, but we're starting to see some sales coming through on detached homes. And then to put it in a pricing, here you can see that the HPI for Langley, our pricing went up by $1,100 to 1,617,700. Townhomes went from 864,600 to 864,500. That's a $100 drop. And then
Yeah.
of course condos, they dropped a little bit more, 603,600 to 598,500. So again, we're not seeing a lot of change in pricing. Pricing seems to be holding okay. But again, there's lots of things that can happen in the meantime. And we can get back to this and take a look and see how it moved forward in April.
So the first question I have about the slide before, if you just can go back to the slide before, is it's interesting that the one at the top with that very minor, is that, what did we say that was, about $1,100? To me,
Yes.
that's almost like that homeowner that you've presented an offer to someone to buy their house, and it's like, let's just take that let's take that $1,100, get the house sold, and move on. That's kind of what I see, as well as with the amount of inventory, to liken it to retail again, the shelves are stocked, the streets are stocked, let's use that terminology. And you really have to make sure that you are spick and span. And I know we sound like a broken record, but with that much inventory and the pricing kind of staying even. And if we want to, stop sharing this screen,
Yes.
my first question my first deep question on
Okay. Yeah.
International Questions Day is, now with the interest rate drop that happened a couple of days ago, from your video, I watch your videos, I'm a YouTube subscriber of Andy's, that now you've posted a lot of what if conversation or what if questions. So what do you feel now with the interest rate drop and the tariffs on specifically building materials for these houses and townhomes we need built? Where do you think it's going, Andy?
Yeah, that's and right now there's a lack of consumer confidence, and
Mm.
that's because we're not seeing any kind of stability in our general market, and we're all that business people, buyers, before they buy something, they want to feel comfortable that they're buying something in a stable market, and we're not there. The president from the States, he's 1 day he is going to have tariffs, or 1 day he's not. 1 day he's going to jack it up 50%. Next day it's 25, but it's never really coming into effect. A lot of what he says, but it does kind of bounce around and give people a lot of uncertainty. I think his next reciprocal tariff that he's talking about is April 2nd, and we'll see what happens then. But he keeps on putting it off and almost backing down. And there's a lot of I think he's starting to get a lot of discontent from American voters, from the Republican Party, the farmers in the Midwest. I mean, they rely on potash. They rely on a lot of things from Canada, and it's going to affect their economy, I think, in many ways worse than ours. So getting back to our market, our real estate market, until we see a little bit more confidence, we're probably going to be bouncing along at this. I am seeing a lot of sales happening, and that's predictive of a spring market, with interest rates have dropped that quarter, and we're at 2.75. But at the same time, we do have that undertone of uncertainty, and
Right.
that and if I guess too, you talked about building costs. Well,
Mm-hmm.
building costs are going to go up, and so new home builds are going to be much more expensive. Renovations are going to be more expensive,
Mm.
and so all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. I've already seen some of that where people are having high-end appliances coming, and they're rushing them through before the tariffs go through.
Wow. So let's speak about that building materials in new home, and from the graph that you showed us about the months of inventory for townhomes and condos. And I know there is a big push in Langley City and in the surrounding, the donut of the township around Langley City, these condos that are being built and townhomes that are being built. Do you see a slowdown of completion? So therefore, I've already got something built, ready to go. Will that person have a bit of a benefit maybe in a buyer's market? What do you think?
You mean, are you talking about a buyer that's already purchased a new home build?
No, yeah, like I've now got, or I'm going to look at one something new, exciting. We get that that shiny new syndrome, and I want to buy in that condo development or that townhouse. And it's like, no, I can't wait. I can't. I really need to move up. That I own, say, a townhome or I own a condo. Is it a good time for me to put it on the market, knowing buyers were thinking about new and maybe they're gonna want to buy what I already have
Yeah,
completed.
yeah, of course. Yeah, that I mean, existing projects in place. I don't think I think they're stable. I
Yeah.
know here in Fort Langley, the Leah townhomes, they've actually just did a big price drop, and because they're coming to the end of their sales, and I'm looking at writing an offer, and we're this. It's a fantastic deal that they're getting. So you do see that, but at some point, then new build will be more expensive
Mhm.
and will take longer to complete. And the secondary market, that the private listings will have, yeah, I think a little bit more value as we go down the road. I mean, and we're talking about 3 or 4 months down the road.
Right, right. So I think we can wrap it up with this. From what I'm seeing from the graphs and knowing your incredible history, 30 plus years, and knowing the Langleys inside and out and upside down and backwards, is truly this this experience in life, let's call it, or event in life when you make this decision, truly has to be one that's personal. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, yes, because the home that you buy is you're going to be in there for 5, 10 years. So if you're waiting to get that lowest bottom dollar or that the absolute top highest dollar, or worried where the market's going to be in 3 or 4 months, it's not going to work well for you, because you're going to miss out on the home that you truly want to live in, and that's your home. That's where that you spend most of your time, and that is the most important part of that. Of course, affordability and making good financial sense is also important. But if you see something that works for you, then buy it, because in a year's time, in 2 years' time, that all could change. The instability that we're seeing it will straighten itself out. We always do come back, and so moving forward, get in there and purchase what you want, because now is a good time to buy.
Yeah. And I'll end it on a bit of a positive note. In the Langleys, you posted in your newsletter, because I also get your newsletter, about its cultural days all month to go on to the township of Langley. There's
Yes.
lots of different events happening all over, family fun. So that's the beautiful thing about living in the Langleys. There's always something good going on. And get out. It's a beautiful day, and there's always something going on. The tourism of Langley site will tell you from events to where to go eat to what to do and everything in between. We're so blessed, Andy, living
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Langleys. We truly are.
I agree 1,000%.
So you go take a walk down the 4 to 4 trail, and I'm going to go take a walk at Aldergrove Park.
Okay.
Have a great
Enjoy
day,
the day.
Andy.
Okay. Bye-bye.